Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Luxury Podcast, your source for all things luxury. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Brenda Kroos on the line, and she's owner over at Brenda Kroos Gallery. Brenda, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice being with you.
So I'm so excited to have you on the show. I mean, you've been in the art business now, I think going on 40 years, maybe a little bit more, and the list of clients on your roster is probably too much for me to list, but I'll just pick out a couple notables. So, I mean, I'm sure everybody's heard of Ritz-Carlton. I mean, you've done, I think, over 600 hospitals or healthcare facilities in terms of the numbers of banks, and I mean, there's just too many to list. So, but Ritz-Carlton, one of the notables, Holiday Inn, Hilton. There's just too many. First Federal, I mean, name the bank and you probably put something on their walls or consulted them. So,
yeah, well, the two that I'm really, really proud of is Price Waterhouse, PwC in Cleveland. We did their corporate headquarters 2 years ago, and Ernst & Young. So basically, you could say that I've done the two largest companies of that ilk in the country.
Amazing.
So that's been very exciting. Yes.
So, Brenda, today's show topic: the importance of art in the workplace. So, you and I, kind of in the pre-show, we were talking, and I'm like, you know, you framed it well and put into perspective something I'd never considered, which is some of us, depending on where we're at in our careers, right, we spend the majority of time at work. So why shouldn't our ambiance or the surroundings be beautiful? Why shouldn't we have amazing art up? So let's just start off with your thought process on, art in the workplace.
Okay. All right. Well, the complexion, as we were talking about before, has totally changed about environment and how environment really is the motivating factor of people who come into an office or into a healthcare facility or a hotel. It makes you feel good. And so for now, I'm going on my 41st year in the art business. So obviously people have picked up on how important environment is. In the healthcare industry, creating an environment that promotes well-being is extremely important. I always tell my clients I don't cure cancer, but I make it a really nice place for caregivers and patients to stay. And so we're very concerned because patients come and go, but we in the healthcare business are more concerned about the caregivers. So no more are those days where you walk into a hospital and you have gray walls. Now everybody is doing beautiful furniture, beautiful flooring, and the art is the icing on the cake. The same thing with corporations, restaurants, hotels. Everybody understands how important the environment is. And without, lovely things to look at on the walls, you have a blank canvas and you have walls that don't have any, there's no interest. So over the years, we've created a lot of interest in creating the art needs of a variety of people.
So this is just a question that's bugging me, and I always ask people whenever I have somebody on the show or otherwise, and it's an annoying question, but I have to know: are there blue and red people? Like some people gravitate towards blue, some people gravitate towards red. And sorry for the beginner question, but I swear there's blue and red people. And somebody told me it a long time ago, so I always try to vet it. I'm like, I was just at Freeze. We had it in L.A. and Art Basel. I went to, all these things. And I'm always like, are there red and blue people? I need your opinion, please.
Well, I think there are blue and red people. However, what we do is I'm
a red, just so you know. I'm a red. I'm a red.
I'm a red person also. I'm a red person. Yeah, I just went to a show, and the essence of the show was, does this match? And it's always a concern about people when you are doing residential. Does it match the sofa? And that's always been a sort of a big joke. So education is very important. What we do to make sure that, we distinguish, we're blue and red, we give people lots of choices. We sort of pre-select. So if we're doing a corporate office and we have the vision of what the client is looking for, we pre-select artwork based upon our expertise. So they're not looking at 1,000 pieces. They're looking at maybe 100 pieces. And then art is very subjective. Art is emotional. So basically, we don't deny them from what they like. What we do then is, because we are able to give them a lot of selections, we could start zeroing in on what they like and what they don't like. But we also try to get them to sort of work outside of the box at times, and clients are willing to do that. They start out with one idea of being blue, and then they might become red. So that's where our excitement comes, in sort of holding our clients' hands, but getting them to think a little bit more outside the box at times.
That's awesome. Can you talk a little bit more about the process of selecting art from the workplace? And the reason I ask that question is, I know there's some people listening right now that they've been thinking about it. They know they need to. They have these bare walls, or they have this stuff that they're like, it was okay when we just started maybe our law practice or something else, but when we just had a couple partners and we were smaller and we were cutting edges, but now we want to up our game a little, but maybe they don't have the knowledge, or they don't feel like they can go through that process. Can you talk a little bit more about working with people in that situation?
Well, the process begins with having a meeting with them and basically walking through the space and getting a really good feel for what the space looks like. We really underplay the space. We don't want to make it look like an art gallery, but we could walk into a space and get an idea. Are they more traditional, more transitional, which means are they between traditional and more contemporary, or are they modern? And so that first meeting is a really great way to just start to distinguish what the client may want based upon what the offices look like. Then we are team players. So I'm not here really to basically tell people that they have to have that piece of art. There are so many incredible publishing companies that we work with. So what we do then is we get a really good feel from our client by listening to what they do want, taking a look at, the blueprint before they move in, if what's going to happen, or they've been in an office for many, many years, and they want to, change their look and update it. A lot of times what we will do, though, which we just did for a client, we repurposed a lot of their artwork, being that their artwork was really great. It looked really wonderful, but they had these horrible frames on it. So we took all the artwork back. We it's a wonderful word now called repurposing. I mean, it's like a new word, not a new word, but it really does fit into what we're doing. So we went ahead and took about 15 of their pieces, which had the artwork looked great, but the frames needed to be updated. And, for less money than buying, the artwork again, we repurposed it and then we installed it. So a lot of times that's what we're doing. One of the particular things we did for Price Waterhouse is they had an incredible collection in another building, and none of their artwork actually went with what they wanted to do in their new headquarters. So we did an inventory. I worked with an auction house. The auction house sold all the artwork. They gave them a wonderful check for one of their community organizations, and it went to a good cause. So a lot of times we will also do that. We are also sometimes called into healthcare, where they are updating and renovating their healthcare facility, and they do have a lot of artwork. And a lot of times, again, we will repurpose it, and a lot of times we are very, very honest. They know what it's going to cost you to replace that artwork is better than trying to use your old artwork. So there's all kinds of, ways of approaching with what we're trying to do a lot of times is save the client money, but also spend the money where it's necessary. And we really create, a vision with them by sitting there and talking to them and listening to, who they are and what their, their culture of their office is. So that's how we work, and then we put together a selection. Usually now it's digital because everyone could look at their computer. But a lot of times for healthcare, if we're meeting with 5 or 6 people, we'll put together a presentation, a catalog presentation. And then we'll give them to each person, and then we could go through, and then we say yes, no, no, yes, and then whatever they don't like, we replace. And then that's how we come to a decision. But I'm also very interested in getting their input, because when they have input to what they want, then they are excited when the artwork goes in, and they feel part of the process. So that's a very important part of how I've sustained myself all these years in business.
Yeah, it's like, I mean,
Does that
it really
answer your
becomes
question?
absolutely, and it really becomes a collaboration. I mean, to let them feel part of the process, because really, I mean, to me, and I like how you brought up the evolution of how the workplace has changed. I think once upon a time, workplace was just where you went, and then you go home, and you spend all your time focusing on your home and like the design, and you hire interior designers, you do all these other things. But if you really think about it, especially on those long work days, you have a 15-hour day, guess what? By just math alone, you spent more time out of the home than in the home. So why not, if you were at the office for those 15 hours, make it something enjoyable, make it something that you obviously like. So no, I love it. I mean, it's amazing. I love what you do. I love the work.
Yeah, we have seen, how important, corporations understand the climate of what's going on within their own space. So now everybody is doing something, and it doesn't have to be expensive. We do a lot of gallery wrap canvas prints, and the publishing companies have really come along to help our clients. So now they're not only, the original artwork. Yes, we do a lot of original artwork, but those days are basically gone where people are putting together major collections. They want something that looks great, that's going to be in their budget, and still, they'll be able to afford it. Because what good does it do to present artwork that is not affordable to them after they've spent all this money in their office? So we have all these different publishing companies, and now they print on different substrates. They print on canvas and acrylic, aluminum, plexiglass. So it's really been a godsend for us being in this business. We also understand, now that there's a big push to environmental branding and graphic design and signage. So I always want to redefine my business, and I always look to see what's happening in, other businesses and what they're doing. So now we have just added, environmental branding and graphic design and signage to our company. So that's another thing that we just, got involved in. And we just did a 110-foot mural by 10 feet, black and white. It's gorgeous, for Quest Software. And that's where we did, this fabulous mural. And we found out that, this is another avenue for us to be able to give to our clients. So again, I was very interested in, when I finished reading Who Moved the Cheese, and that's where I think
one of my favorites. I love it.
Yes, well, good, because you have to redefine yourself, and if you don't, somebody else is going to step in. So that's why we took the next step now to not only offer art, and we do artwork in all kinds of medium, from sculpture, outdoor sculpture, all different substrates, to now, we as I said, can now give our clients another service, and it's been really working well. So 41 years of business, and I'm still growing, and I still love what I do, and I still have the passion. But the bottom line is, I love when I walk away from an office or a healthcare facility, and I get these wonderful letters from people that say, this has been, it really helps, the motivation, and makes the environment really a great place for them to come to. One of the things that we did this hospital in Kenton, Ohio, and I got a letter from the president, and he said, I have to tell you, we spent millions and millions and millions of dollars on all the equipment, and the only thing people could talk about was the art. So kudos, to him. And kudos
to you. Kudos to you.
To us, yes. And I love
kudos
that
to
letter.
his budget and the space they provide so that you can live out what you do in your gift.
Yeah, it was incredible. And what we have found also is that different, community hospitals that are in rural areas, they really want to include the community. So we have done that for them. So we have gone out and photographed the community, and when people come in, they feel comfortable. They recognize that barn, or they recognize that field, or whatever their community is. So it also is a great way of warming up an environment, but also making people feel comfortable to where they're going, especially, in healthcare. So
Brenda,
that's what
if
I've been doing.
So, Brenda, if somebody's listening to this and they want to learn more because they may have a workspace that needs a little bit of sprucing up, we'll say, what's the best way for them to reach out and to connect with you?
Okay, well, they could email me at BKROOS, like in Sam, Gallery, at AOL.com. I know I'm a dinosaur. My son always laughs when I say AOL, but I love AOL.
That's so cute. No, you're a cutie, Brenda. You tell Kevin to relax on the AOL jokes. I
have a Gmail account, but I don't like it, so I'm still AOL.
Oh my gosh! No way. That's amazing. It might be worth money. I don't know. AOL. I mean, I didn't even know they still had those.
I know.
For everybody listening, that's not the latest generation. You might remember when you were a kid the noise of the AOL starting. We all started there. That's what I say.
So my phone number is 614-551-1180, and you certainly can always reach out to me. One of the things that I have done in my business for all these years is to get back to phone calls, back to emails. And I think that that's one of the things that I think is missing, which, is so easy now, we just don't communicate. But I think, to me, a phone call is the start of a great relationship, because you could hear people on the phone, you could hear my energy, my excitement. And I got one of the biggest jobs I ever had for Mead Corporation, because after speaking to the president of Mead, he called his designer and he said, "You have got to work with this woman, because I've never heard anybody so excited about what she does." And I did their corporate headquarters. So
amazing.
I think that's what it's all about: energy and passion, loving what you do, and also being a good listener to your clients.
Well, Brenda, it's been awesome having you on the show today. So thank you for coming on the show. I could talk to you all day long, but we're about out of time. And to the listeners, as always, thank you for tuning in. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. Hope you learned a lot. I hope you had fun listening, because we had fun making this for you. If you did, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast. Leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Luxury, then definitely give us a subscribe there. And also leave us some comments on the video. Let us know what you thought. We'd love to keep the conversation going there. And Brenda, thanks again for coming on the show.